Hello and welcome once again to the video. In this one I thought I would do what I've done a couple of times in the past and just have a little look at what's in the F1 news at the moment. The world of Formula One Grand Prix motor racing. Specifically, the exit of Gunther Steiner. But then also just touching on a couple of other things as well. So, let's go. The big split between Haas and Steiner. I have to say that I wasn't too surprised. Not that I think Gunther Steiner has not done a good job, but I think it's only natural after a number of years for either partner or both partners to want to split, even if they have had a certain amount of success together. So I wasn't at all surprised, especially seeing as Steiner was coming up to the end of his contract with Haas. I wasn't at all surprised to find out that he got a phone call between Christmas and New Year. That was sort of mentioned as if that was a bad time to call, but that might have just been when Gene made the decision. If that was me, I would want to know straight away, as soon as someone had made a decision. I wouldn't want them to wait until after the holiday season or anything, and then hit you immediately afterwards on Monday morning. But anyway, yeah, I was not surprised. His contract has come to an end. He's been at the team for 8 years. He's very much built the team with Haas, of course, with Gene Haas. Yeah. But Steiner is the one that knew about Formula One, having been in Formula One for quite a while in different roles. Gene Haas has been quoted as simply saying that it was pretty much results driven. And again, that's perfectly understandable. Let's just have a look and see what they've done. They came in 2016, right? So this always happens to my pen, of course. 2016 they came 8th in the championship with 29 points. And I remember the first couple of races Grosjean did really well. I remembered it slightly wrong. I thought he came 4th in the first race. But looking it up, he actually came 6th in the first race. But I always believed it was 4th. Anyway, I remember Romain Grosjean being incredibly happy after the first race and then again after the second race with how this new team was doing. Okay, it had Ferrari engine and Ferrari bits and pieces on it. So it wasn't, you could argue it wasn't a totally new team. But that's the only way to get new teams these days, really, for them to have in partnership with another big team. 2017, 8th position again. there were 10 teams in all of these years, 47 points. And then 2018, that was their big year, where they came 5th now, with 93 points. Now, Gene Haas would have been ecstatic because he would have seen growth. 29 points, 47 points, 93 points. Getting better and better all the time. So at this stage, he would have been extremely happy. He would have seen it just going up and up and up. Gunther Steiner might have thought that, you know, with his experience in Formula 1, he may well have been expecting a bit of kickback and not to necessarily continue. But Gene Haas may well have thought, right, okay, break into the top 3 in 2019. It wasn't to be. They actually had their worst season to date. 9th with 28 points. See, now that doesn't look too bad compared to 2023, I mean. But back then that would have been a big shocker for them. Again, not necessarily for people within the team. Gunther Steiner, those more experienced people, not necessarily a shock. But to Gene Haas's credit, he kept at it. 2020, 3 points, 9th place. That's the thing I've been really impressed with Gene Haas. He's continued. 2021. Now, this was terrible. Their worst season ever. 0 points. 10th place in the championship. And yet still, Gene Haas continues. Gunther Steiner continues. Another 8th place. 37 points. Great recovery. 2023. 10th place. 12 points. I remember 2022, I was expecting them to not do very well because they had the sudden big change due to what was happening in the Ukraine. They lost their Russian driver, Mazepin, and they also lost their big Russian sponsor. And I thought that would really derail them in 2022. But they had a good start to the championship, I remember. Magnussen, of course, came in and he picked up a 5th, didn't he, in the first race, I seem to remember. And, yeah, 37 points, 8th place. Good recovery from the difficulties with the start of the season. And that might be why Gene Haas is particularly distressed, because they bounced back so well in 2022 and then sort of didn't do anything in 2023, despite having 2 good, experienced drivers in Magnussen and Hülkenberg. But I have to applaud Gene Haas for sticking with it. And 2024, Haas is still there. And he has said, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to mess about, jump in and jump out, like so many teams, like Honda keep doing. They come in for a few seasons, then they get bored with not winning, and they leave. Then they get bored with not taking part, so they come back in again. Sometimes they're here as a team, sometimes they're here as an engine supplier, normally an engine supplier, of course. And they just bounce backwards and forwards. And it's like queue jumping in the post office. And, of course, it tripped Honda up, didn't it, in 2009, when they left at the end of 2008, and then effectively their team won both championships the following year as Braun. But anyway, Gene Haas has stuck with it, and I applaud him for that. Don't give up, just keep going. Of course, there's a lot of money involved, so keep going while you can. And Steiner, Gunther Steiner has been, I hope I spelt that right, by the way. I think I did, but that'll ruin the whole video if all of that up there is spelled incorrectly. Yeah, Gunther Steiner, he stuck with it as well, year on year off. No, year on year. So that's what I meant to say, year on year. Being positive, managing to swear all the time, and yet still come across positive. He's got a strange personality, isn't he? He comes across as a really friendly, positive guy, and yet what he actually says is often very negative. With the comments about the drivers and the swearing and everything, it makes him sound very negative, but you can tell that he is actually a friendly, positive guy. it's just words. It's just the way he talks. So I like the guy. I've got his book, but I haven't read it yet. So, yeah, he was at the end of his contract. So I suspect Gene Haas gave it a lot of thought. There's a guy, a Japanese guy, don't know his name, but he's stepped up from lower down in the team to fill the position. So what I have heard, and pretty much from both sets of lips as well, which, for instance, Gene Haas, I saw a quote by him the other day saying that he wants to go into 2024, he wants to utilise everything that they have in 2024 to get results so that they can then spend more money to get better results. And that pretty much tends to fit in with the general feeling that it was Steiner wanting more money for the team to develop the team, and Gene Haas not wanting to. Gene Haas, I think, wanted to see results first, which is understandable. But Steiner would say, which is also understandable, that you can't get results without spending the money. What comes first, you know? So I think that was a little bit of a stumbling block between them. Steiner, understandably, as with all team bosses, as with all team principals, is always going to want the team owner to supply more money. So that's fairly standard, really. More investment. But on Gene Haas's side, you can see, well, it's 8 years now, and you want even more investment. You know, he's not an inexhaustible supply of money. So I can see both sides of the argument there. But anyway, I fully respect Gene Haas for what he's done maintaining this team. And I fully respect Steiner for having led the team and built it over 8 years. So I think they're both really good. I just hope that Haas will continue in Formula One for numerous years. Because taking away Steiner could destabilise it potentially, but hopefully not. So that's one thing. The other thing I was going to just cover, the car launches, yeah. So the dates for some of the car launches. Now, so only got a few of them, haven't we? Not that car launches are tremendously exciting, I have to say, but we have, now I'm just going to write Sauber. I don't know if I'm supposed to put Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber. But yeah, that's on the 5th of February, their car release. I don't like the fact that Sauber have been in Formula One since 1993. But I don't like the fact that they're only ever called Sauber when they're in between, not owners as such, but big manufacturers that basically take over Sauber to the extent where they can even change the name completely and get rid of the Sauber name. And then that manufacturer goes, and in the gap before the next one, they can call themselves Sauber again. It's a very strange, and I believe unique situation in Formula One. I don't remember that before, that sort of messing about. I think they're going to be called Audi in a couple of years' time. But it'll still be the Sauber team. They were BMW. I've discussed this in a previous video, but they were BMW Sauber, then BMW, then Sauber again, then Alfa Romeo Sauber, then Alfa Romeo, now Sauber again. So I suppose in 2 years there'll be Sauber Audi or something, Audi Sauber, or just Audi, I don't know. But both them and Williams are having their car launch on the 5th of February. So Alpine on the 7th of February. Aston Martin 18th of February. Ferrari, 13th of February. Mercedes, 14th of February. Yeah, car launches not tremendously exciting. Some of them are big, some of them are small. It's exciting in 2022 when the new cars arrived on the scene, but these cars are going to look basically the same. The only difference to your general viewer like myself, the only difference will be the odd small sponsor change. That'll be it really. Often they turn up with the different colours to what they will race in as well. So they're not always in exactly the same colours. Or indeed looking exactly the same, because often some of the bits and pieces on the car have not been finished yet. So I don't see why, I don't get too excited by it basically. But anyway, that's the car launches. And of course, testing is 21st of Feb to the 23rd of Feb in Bahrain, as usual. And in the Bahrain Grand Prix, is on Saturday, 2nd of March, Saturday. Both the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, round 2, are both on Saturdays because of Ramadan, the Muslim festival, religious festival, the most important, festival is probably the wrong word, but anyway, Ramadan. So because of that, they've, I don't know why exactly, but because of that they have to be on the Saturday, those 2 races. I could mention Toto and Susie Wolff, the trauma that they had to go through recently, but that was some weeks ago. It's a bit old news now, and it's all died down anyway, from what I understand. They were sort of being accused of something. I don't want to say they definitely were, but there was yeah, they were sort of there was friction. I'll just say that. There was friction between them and the FIA, something the FIA were thinking might be the case, but it turned out it wasn't the case and it didn't go any further. It caused a few headlines at the time, but everyone's happy now, I think. So there you go, just a little, that was a little brief video. Mainly just talking about Gunther Steiner. Big character. Not in well, I say he's not in Formula 1 anymore. It's difficult for a team principal to go. I've never seen a team principal stay in Formula 1 but go down a rank or 2 to something else. And I think all the other teams have got their team principals, but that doesn't mean he won't come back in 2025 or 2026. Because I think he's done a good job with what he had available. Just as I think Gene Haas has done a good job in making available to Steiner what he was able to. Okay, right, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so. I'll comment on the video or like the video. And I will see you on the very next video, whatever it's about. Thank you again. Thanks for watching and listening. And I'll see you next time.